Your introduction to Radiata Stories politics. And upcoming is probably one of the funniest lines in the whole game. Yep. Funniest line in the whole game. Now we get an introduction to not only Radiata City, but guilds as well. That will become very important for later in the game. So I would suggest paying attention to what he says. So that was the introduction to guilds. This is a little drawn out in my opinion, but basically he's sending her to cover us and watch us and make sure that Ridley does not actually get hurt. Yeah, Natalie has an issue with this. Apparently, in the course of the game, apparently she's very, very gorgeous, and they play off of that quite a bit, actually, because there's actually quite a few people that have a crush on her, and she has this weird, I don't know, obsession with Jasmine. I wouldn't know. I guess it's a romantic obsession, but I guess he never really picks up on it. The only reason you beat me is because by the mission you're supposed to be like my opposite, my polar opposite. You're only important because you're linked to me, bitch. I'm the main character. So fuck off. They won't succeed. Ooh, foreshadowing. Like I know what a smilodon is. The fuck is a smilodon? Why not? Oh yeah, trust me. He has he. I think he has a sneaking suspicion that he's the main character. Yep, our roommate just happens to be Natalie's second in command. Gans, Ridley, Clive. Yay! We have a full party of 4 people instead of 1 person now. Okay, so now we're kind of let loose, and like I said, if you did the tutorial, then you got a good sense of what combat's like. But I'm going to show. Um, I don't know if I'm going to show every single battle. It kind of depends on how quickly the battles go. But I am going to show at least the first battle. I'm not going to edit it out because I'm going to go over the basics of actually fighting. My very first battle is going to be probably almost exactly alike to your first battle. After my first battle, although after my first battle, I'm going to be a lot stronger than you will ever be. So if I do show any other battles after that, um, you should probably not take them completely to heart because I'm going to be a lot stronger than you will be unless you're cheating as well. I'm doing this through an emulator. Um, it is a PS2 emulator. I'm not playing an actual PS2. I'm using my PC and emulating software, and I'm using that to my benefit to cheat the game. Okay, so we will go over first your friends list. You will not have all these populated when you come in here. The only ones that you're going to have populated here are going to be Jack, Dan's, Ridley, and Clive, but he's way down the list. Um, if you go in here and you want to read some of this, it's kind of beneficial because it'll give you a little bit of backstory about the characters that you have, all the good stuff. Um, Later, it'll come into play later in the game because it'll be your how you track, how you have all of the characters that you need. I'm going to be tracking mine differently. I have a spreadsheet here of different characters and I plan on each character how to get them quickly as possible. Um, I am going to be recruiting every single character in the game because um, some guides, if you go to read the guide, may kind of spoil a part of the story. And without spoiling anything in the story, I'm going to tell you that um, picking humans and picking non-human party members is going to be a big part of your strategy on whether or not you recruit people. Okay. And ultimately, you're going to have to pick whether you have a crew of humans or whether you have a crew of non humans. So keep that in mind when you're going through. Um, you can also do what I'm going to do and save it at a certain point that I'll tell you. And you won't have the problem. You can come back to that save and you can play through the alternate side of the story if you would like. Because there's a big plot point that, I don't know, maybe a quarter to the game, you have to make that will ultimately determine whether you're on the human side or on the non human side. Okay. Now, going over skills again, just to touch up real quick, all of these guys have different skills that will come into play later in the game because later in the game, we will be able to learn these skills from our fellow party members. And they all have their own individual levels, they all have their own individual skills. No matter what level they are, these skills will never change. These equipment will never change. You can never change them. You can't unequip them. You can't equip them with different things. This just always stays the same. Now, some characters will be updated, such as Ridley, Gans, and some main characters will get progressively stronger as the game goes along. But for the most part, characters that you recruit will always be exactly like this. They will never be set up any different. Now, this is your item screen. You can cover just common items. Um, you can sort them by different items. These are other items. You got armor, weapon accessories, and consumable items. You won't have as many of these, but I will go over how important each one of these are actually going to be. Um, that was weird. What the hell, man? Why did this do all kinds of weird shit on me? Uh, no, what? My map is gone now. It's fine. I can use the end game map. I had a map of Radiata up here too. I will go over, each of the items that I will have. Um, and for the most part, you're only going to have to buy the items that I expressly tell you to. And I'll go over things that you need, things that you want to use, when to use them, how to use them, and such like that. For the most part, like if you just follow along with me, you shouldn't have an issue with items or anything like that. You can develop your own tactics of where you won't use items because they may be different for you in the actual game. All right, so let's go have our first battle. All right, I do recommend stopping here and go ahead and saving it. Uh, uh, I do recommend those saving it on a different file. Um, just because you can sleep at that one, you can't sleep at this one because it may come in handy later to have two files. And as you can see there, that enemy, it wasn't actually trying to attack me. But if I kick it anyway, it'll let me fight it anyway. Okay, so as you can see, I'm targeting this enemy right here in front of me. Okay, now you have a common attack button. Okay, and that's generally it's going to be the circle button or the. I mean, if it were a PlayStation controller, it would be a circle button. If it was your Xbox controller, it'd be a B button. Um, on your Scuff controller, I'm not sure, um, but it's basically of the four arranged buttons on the side, it's the far right one, and then you have your Volti button. This is a Volti attack. Just simple. It takes 10 Volti to do this attack. Okay. And then you also have an item menu, which should be the equivalent to the R1 button. From here, you can use items. When you're in the item menu, the game will be paused, so you will be able to take your time and select what you want. Um, right now, you would have a very limited amount of these items. I wouldn't use them too often on these regular fights unless you just absolutely have to. Um, because basically, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to fight every single fight on the way to the next destination. Make sure you fight every single fight, even the ones that you have to kick. Okay, so analysis balls are useful, especially with stronger enemies or boss type enemies. Definitely want to try to keep those handy for bosses and harder enemies, so you know how much health they have and what their weaknesses are. Okay, flea balls. I wouldn't recommend ever using these. If I'm being real with you, I don't think I've ever actually used one in an actual battle. Um, because most of the battles that you do, whether if they're duels, you'll always respawn. You won't. It won't be game over. And most of these fights, you're gonna want to fight them. You're not really gonna want to skip a whole lot of fights. Um, I don't. There's not a literally. There's not gonna be a lot of grinding you need to do if you just do all of the fights on the way to your destinations. Um, Cure drop goes. It cures poison. Poison is pretty much what it says it is. It's damage over time. Um, it can't kill you in the game, but it can get you down to 1 HP, in which case you're pretty much dead anyway. Because anything that, no matter what your defense is going to do at least one damage. So, yeah, you don't want to be poisoned that long. You want to try to heal it. Herb extracts, you'll get better healing items than herb extracts, but for now they only heal 90 HP. So we will get other attacks, and I will go over some other status ailments. As you can see, they pretty much won the fight for me. And they're pretty much your other characters, for the most part, are going to act completely on their own. Okay, as you can see, I'm cheating the game, so I'm going to be higher level than you ever will be. So that's the part that you don't pay attention to. Okay, but your party members will pretty much act on their own. Even if you stand there, they will go attack for the most part. You will get later some chances to tell your team what to do, but that's really rarely ever useful. You learn those through skill books, and honestly, the the use of your money would be better spent elsewhere. Um, don't worry about buying books. Don't go out of your way to learn books for new attacks or new commands. Now, box links or links on that other end will be much different story. We do want to try to get those, but those we'll go over later because that's going to be an advanced part of the battle system that we'll go over later. All right. So remember these guys for later. They don't really do anything right this second, but do remember these little statues right here. They will come in handy to you later. As you can see, just touching that guy, since he's hostile, will get him to attack. And if you go up, if you continuously press the button, he's gonna do whatever combo that I told him to do. Um, you do want to try to keep um after you kill an enemy, you do want to try to stop pressing the button because he'll keep going with this combo even though the enemy has died. So you want to kind of let go of the button. You don't just don't want to spam the button. Um, hell, you may want to just do the first attack and then run away at some points. Um, don't commit too hard to the attack because it will leave you open to attack from other sources or, you know, just other attacks from, especially from a boss. He'll have attacks that'll bypass and he'll be able to just tank through your damage. Also, do utilize your Volti attacks. As you can see, these guys are attached to me. If you just wiggle, they'll fall off. You basically just move around and wiggle and they'll fall off. Like I said, I'm going to be much stronger than you ever will be, so don't pay attention to that part. As you can see, she gained something on her battle skill. So now the skill does more now. Well, let me view it. Hold on. Whoops. Let's go back in the menu here. I messed up. It won't let me view the skill. But in other words, it decreases the damage more by each level. I'm not exactly sure the numbers of each level, but basically, the higher the stars are on this, the more it will decrease damage from wind attacks. Um, Also, when she learns it completely, if this were later in the game, I could use links to learn this skill from her. Um, Basically, the more battles and the more people that she kills, the more experience she gets towards this learning this.